Welcome to CEO Interviews, a production of Agoracom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives about what's going on at their companies. With us today, we're happy to have him for the first time ever, Anthony Tennyson. He's CEO of Awakn Life Sciences. And you probably don't know the stock symbol. Why? Because they start trading on June 23rd under the stock symbol AWKN, and that's on the NEO exchange. So to understand Awakn, you first have to understand that psychedelics are going to go through a parabolic, paradigm-shifting growth in the next 5 years, heck, probably the rest of the decade, because of their general ability to treat anxiety, depression, and addiction, amongst other things. Awakn is a biotech company that's developing psychedelic medicines to treat addiction specifically, and they've got a dual strategic focus to develop and commercialize proprietary psychedelics and drugs and therapies to treat addiction, as well as treat addiction and other mental health conditions in a chain of medical psychedelic clinics across the EU and the UK. More than just lip service, they've already got a strong psychedelic drug development pipeline. They've got what arguably is the leading research and clinical team in the industry that's focused on psychedelics for addiction. First mover advantage for clinics in the UK and EU, with revenue beginning right here in 2021. They closed an $8.3 million financing on June 8th. So they're hunting and they're loaded for bear. Anthony, welcome to the show.
George, thank you very much. It's great to be on here with you and with your audience. I really do appreciate it.
Hey, great to have you, because you guys are doing some pretty great things here. Let's jump straight into it. Yeah. Why is Awakn focused on treating addiction?
Look, as an Irish guy, I see the damage and the harm that substances have done to society. You know, as an Irish guy, I've seen what alcohol does. And for an awful long time, I worked in the financial district in Dublin, which is in the north inner city, right beside some areas that have been ravaged by the opioid crisis. So for me, it's close to my heart, and it's a problem that needs to be solved. From a societal perspective, it's actually one of the biggest single unmet medical needs globally. 20% of the global population suffer from an addiction, be that a substance addiction of alcohol, prescription drugs, opioids, or tobacco, or a behavioral addiction of gambling, pornography, or sex. That there is a significant treatment gap. Only a small proportion of people seek and secure treatment for their addiction. Of those people that do, there is only a small proportion of those that are actually cured. There's a 70% relapse rate with alcohol addiction. It's even higher for opioids and tobacco. There hasn't been an innovation in addiction treatment for decades, and it's just not good enough. So as important a story this is for us in Awakn, it's actually not about us. It's about the millions of individuals, their families, and their communities that are stuck in a cycle of addiction.
Why is it you think psychedelics can finally treat addiction in ways that have unsuccessfully been treated by the major pharmaceutical companies and everything we've seen over the last 20, 30 years of my adult life? Why do psychedelics have a better chance at it?
Well, I think that's a great question, George. And I think what psychedelics do is psychedelic drugs and therapies present an opportunity to change how addiction is treated. The reason for that is the majority of addictions have trauma as a common and contributing factor. And the current treatment paradigm is just no good at fixing that. If you prescribe addiction treatment drugs, all you're doing is sending someone home, giving them a prescription, sending them home, and you're not fixing the root cause. If you're focusing only on talk therapy, which most current addiction treatments are focused on, you're not addressing the root cause trauma. Psychedelics, because you have the compound, the therapist, the therapy, and the clinical environment all working together, that is what provides the breakthrough in results. And there is an emerging body of evidence that is demonstrating and has demonstrated that psychedelics are just more effective at treating addiction than anything else. There's proof that MDMA-assisted psychotherapy can cure alcohol addiction.
Yeah, more than just self. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and there's evidence to come out shortly that ketamine-assisted psychotherapy is also incredibly effective, and we've acquired the teams and the IP from both of those trials, and we're bringing that research forward because it's beholden upon us to do that.
And more than just self-serving talk of this as the CEO of Awakn, the fact of the matter is we all have either dealt with or know people who've dealt with addiction, and it just doesn't seem like it rarely gets better. Rarely, right? So that you've hit the nail on the head here. And is that why? And that answers my question, but I want to ask it: is that why you guys are focused on both development and delivery? Because most psychedelic companies either want to be on the development side or they want to be on the delivery side. But you guys are focused on both.
Yeah, you listen, that's another great question. And it's because of those four pillars that I mentioned before that need, in my opinion, and our opinion, that should be delivered together in order to deliver that better, significantly better patient outcome that is required for the individual, their families, and communities. If you focus on the drugs only, well, in my opinion, that's a bit like the current psychiatry model. And if you focus on delivery only, you're missing a trick, because you've really got to develop the drugs and the therapies together to work in concert to solve the indications that you want to solve. And that's what we're doing. We're doing drug discovery, we're doing therapy development within our development work stream, and then we are delivering those therapies and those drugs in our clinical platform in the UK and the EU. But recognizing that there's a significantly bigger marketplace and more people that require help beyond the UK and the EU, we will be licensing our IP for therapies and delivery into the North American market to ensure that as many people as possible can utilize the Awakn methodology to help treat addictions for themselves and to solve some of the biggest societal problems that are currently in existence.
Okay, let's talk about the development side, because I did mention at the outset you've got a strong psychedelic drug development pipeline. Without getting too scientific, but this is where the rubber hits the road, because look, you guys have a great mission statement. What you've said would be a massive help, not just to shareholders, but to society. So now let's get to the details of your drug development program. Where are you guys at there, generally speaking?
Yeah, sure. So it's important to caveat everything we're doing is in order to help provide hope, really, for the individuals, the families, and communities from a treatment paradigm that just currently isn't working as well as perhaps it could be. So from a drug development perspective, we've got a near-term focus, a medium-term focus, and a long-term focus. Near term, we're looking to develop ketamine to bring it forward to better treat alcohol use disorder. We've acquired the IP from the world's only clinical trial assessing ketamine-assisted psychotherapy for alcohol use disorder. Results of that are due to be published in the American Journal of Psychiatry in the coming weeks. A medium-term goal is to seek to secure marketing authorization for MDMA to treat alcohol use disorder in the UK and the EU. And then long-term, it's about developing our own compounds. And we've got a very advanced drug discovery program already live. We've got a hit to lead program live with Evotech, which is the world's leading drug discovery program. And we've acquired a whole load of assets from Professor David Nutt's research company, and he's one of the world's leaders in this space. He's running a research program for us, and we've already acquired details of compounds which we believe are novel, which we believe are effective, and which we believe will work like MDMA, but will work in a shorter window, and therefore will be better able to be integrated into mainstream mental health care or mainstream addiction treatment, and therefore to us could be more attractive from the payer model as well. So we've got multiple irons in the fire, I guess, George, is the best way to describe it. Near term, medium term, and long term, all of which is about doing two things. It's about providing hope for people who are suffering from addiction, but it's also about generating and creating sustainable long-term shareholder value.
What's the legal framework in the EU and the UK in terms of ketamine, MDMA? It sounds like ketamine sounds like you're allowed to administer that now, but MDMA, you still need legislation to catch up. If you could just give everyone just a quick snapshot of what, because you're across the pond.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem at all. So that's what we're doing in development. If we switch gears and look at what we're doing in delivery, we're going to be opening up and running clinics across the UK and the EU. We're going to be delivering ketamine-assisted psychotherapy in the near term, and then we're going to be looking to push the regulatory agenda for MDMA in the medium term. Ketamine is Schedule 2 in the UK, and between Schedule 2 and Schedule 3 across the EU, because people think of the EU as a single territory. It's actually a patchwork of 27 different regulatory environments. But because ketamine is Schedule 2 or 3, it means we can deliver ketamine-assisted psychotherapy immediately in the UK and the EU. From an MDMA perspective, MDMA is Schedule 1 in the UK and the EU.
Further anecdotal evidence, a few days ago, I caught Dr. Sanjay Gupta from CNN. So I recorded it, and I still got to watch it because I wanted to watch entirety. But basically the theme of this special was the United States of America is spending more money than ever per capita. And yet depression, anxiety, addiction, all those things are higher than ever. So clearly the current system isn't working. Let's talk about the business side of Awakn, because I'm sure shareholders want to know that as well. And that's the clinics. I know there are multiple revenue streams, but the clinics is one that people can really relate to. You've got first mover advantage in the UK and the EU. Your plan is for 3 this year, 3 next year, 6 the year after that, and a total of 20 by 2024. Talk to us about the economics, as there's some strong economics there behind these clinics.
Yeah, and to me, it's an interesting question, right? We're talking about helping people, right? But it is commercial. We've got we're a commercial entity at the end of the day. So yeah, we've got on the roadmap, it's 3 clinics this year in the UK. It's actually, we're going to aim to open 5 clinics in the UK next year, and then another one outside the UK in Ireland in 2022. And then from 2023 onwards, we go into Europe, Scandinavia, Benelux, France, Spain, etc. So each one of our clinics, we believe, will generate between, this is in sterling now, so actually in Canadian dollars, 3.25 million, between 3.25 million and 6.5 million Canadian top line. It's a big problem to solve. There's 400 million people in the UK and the EU. 20% of those have an addiction issue. That's 80 million people. So even with 20 clinics, we're only scratching the surface with the problems, solving the problems that need to be solved. So we feel for now, by the end of 2024, 20 clinics across the UK and the EU feels about right. But we will pause and we will reflect at the end of each year and decide, should there be more clinics, or are we good to hold as we are?
How close are you to opening your first clinics here in 2021? Are you on track? Because I know COVID must have slowed you down a little bit. Has to. I mean, it slows down just construction in my backyard, for goodness sake. So I can't imagine full flight clinics. Are you guys still on track? How are you for 2021?
Yeah, I if I could give any advice to anyone, it would be not to try and open your first clinic in the UK during COVID. Bristol spent a long time in level 3 lockdown. I think they even put it into level 4 lockdown on a scale of 1 to 3. So that hit us, that delayed things significantly. When you've got a building crew in doing material renovations to an old building, and you can only have 1 crew in at a time, and you gotta clean the building out before you can have the next crew in. That's delayed us. So we're on target to open that first clinic in Bristol in September, second clinic in London in October or November, and third clinic in Manchester in November or December. But definitely we're on target to open the 3 clinics this year.
But on the flip side, Anthony, you may have been delayed because of COVID, but unfortunately, the fact of the matter is those clinics are probably going to have more demand for them than ever because of what COVID has done for anxiety, depression, which has led to addiction, more drinking, more opioids. I mean, we see all of it. So later start, but probably a bigger push, a bigger demand.
Yeah, and again, this is part of the sort of the ethical tension that we have in the company. As much as we are a commercial entity that is looking to generate revenue, we got to accept that these aren't products. These are people. These are individuals. These are their families
Of course.
that we are helping solve problems for. So yes, we have been delayed by COVID. I think probably the upside about being delayed by COVID is that hopefully a significant proportion of the adult population in the UK should be vaccinated by the time we open the clinics. So we don't actually have to implement any of these complications around COVID handling. So I think I'm going to view the positive on the delay being it's easier operationally rather than it's created a significant commercial opportunity, because that's challenges for individuals that need to be solved. And again, I don't think that's right for us to be happy about that, you know?
Yeah. No. And by me, just in case I didn't want to, I was just the reality of, I guess it's going to lead to that. But, I really like the fact, Anthony, that you are torn by that, because it shows that it's patient first for Awakn. But at the same time, look, I would say you don't need to feel too torn, because the fact of the matter is you're helping individuals, which then helps families, which then helps society. And you've got to be commercially successful in order to achieve that goal, right?
Yeah, listen, and absolutely. And that's one of our key objectives in the company, is to integrate the benefits of psychedelics into mainstream addiction treatment and mainstream mental health care. And that's one of the reasons that we're investing so much into our research, because we've got to get these methodologies, these drugs, these therapies need regulatory approval, because we need buyer support or payer support. We need public healthcare support, because we need these services to be available over this side of the water in the public healthcare system. And over your side of the water, the payers, the insurance markets, they need to be able to reimburse for these treatments, because that is the only way that we are going to be able to help the significant majority of people. Because right now, unfortunately, we're in the UK, we're out of pocket payments. So people have to pay for our services out of their disposable income. And there's only so many people that can afford to do it. And unfortunately, addictions disproportionately affect people from parts of society that don't have as much disposable income as other parts of society. So again, that's one of the key reasons why we're running research and delivery. We're running research so that we can get these drugs and these therapies approved, so that the public healthcare system can start to support us, so that the insurance markets can start to support us, because that's the right thing to do.
Anthony, congratulations on where you brought the company to this point, especially what you've done in putting together your research and clinical team. At the same time, having this, the clinic rollout, that's no easy feat in a brand new industry, right? Psychedelics just burgeoning, and doing it within a COVID environment. So the fact that you've brought the company, you and your team, I don't want to say just you, because you've got a great team, and we'll probably talk about that next time, but the fact you've done all that and brought it together, and you've got your new listing now on June 23rd, that goes to show you what kind of team you have. And I can only imagine what you're going to be able to do in the next 6, 12, 24 months in a much more traditional environment. Last word to you on what you want everyone at home to know to know about Awakn.
Yeah, so listen, this isn't about me. This is about my colleagues, our clients, and the communities. Our colleagues it's the best team and the most dedicated team I've ever had the pleasure to work with. We are working to deliver hope to clients for whom the current treatment methodology just is not working. And we want to help bring, enable better communities for those people. So, I hope your viewers are interested and motivated, and I hope they want to get with us on this journey, because it's just the beginning of what I believe and what we in Awakn believe will be a very exciting journey.
Well, Anthony, as a human first, and as a capital markets participant and shareholder second, we wish you nothing but the greatest success, and can't wait to have you back, because it looks like so much is going to be going on with the release of that report and then the clinics. So we can't wait to have you back. But thanks for joining us today.
George, it was an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for having me on.
To everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening to my podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform. to Anthony Tennyson. He's CEO of Awakn Life Sciences, just starting trading on the NEO under the stock symbol AWKN. For those of you, and all of you are going to be new to the story, you want to do your due diligence as follows. Start off on Agoracom. Get to the Awakn profile where we give you a good 10,000-foot overview of what the company is doing, because we know psychedelics is new. Research, development, that's all new. So we give you a really great overview. But then from there, once you've done that, either from Agoracom, you can see it right above Anthony there, awakenlifesciences.com. Go over to the website, do your deep dive due diligence, because if you believe, as we do, that psychedelics are going to go through a parabolic paradigm shifting growth curve in the next 5 to 10 years, then you've got to find out for yourself if Awakn is going to be a part of that. We think they are, but you got to make that determination for yourself. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. See you next time.